When news broke that Emily Robinson had walked away from Team Sussex after barely 4 months, even the most seasoned royal watchers were left speechless. Another one gone. Another name added to the ever-growing list of publicists, aides, and strategists who've stepped into Meghan and Harry's orbit, only to vanish just as quickly. Insiders claim Emily's sudden resignation wasn't just a quiet departure, it was a flare going up from inside the palace-turned-PR machine. Emily Robinson wasn't some flighty hire. She was a veteran, someone who had handled global publicity for Netflix, NBC Universal, and other major networks. A woman known for her calm under pressure and her loyalty to her teams. For her to walk away so abruptly, people close to the situation whisper, something must have gone terribly wrong. Reports are surfacing that internal communications between senior staff grew tense and unsustainable, with one insider describing the environment as emotionally draining. Behind closed doors, people are saying Emily tried to steady the ship, but the waves coming from Meghan's side were just too relentless. Word on the street suggests that this isn't merely a personality clash, it's a full-blown pattern. The Sussexes have now cycled through around 10 communication professionals in just 5 years. 10. In the world of high-profile publicity, that's not just unusual, it's staggering. It points to something deeper. A leadership issue, a clash of egos, or perhaps an impossible mission to control every narrative around the couple's lives. Sources close to the situation reveal that Meghan had been desperate to polish her image after a series of public setbacks, from Spotify walking away from their multi-million-dollar deal to dwindling enthusiasm for the couple's Netflix projects. Emily's hiring was supposed to mark a turning point, a fresh start, a new era of positive storytelling, but instead, it's ended with another resignation, another headline, and another wave of speculation. Behind the scenes, there were whispers that Emily grew frustrated with the constant rewriting of press releases, the endless approvals, and the shifting tone Meghan demanded with every piece of coverage. The goalpost kept moving. One insider claimed, one day the couple wanted to be seen as global philanthropists, the next as Hollywood power players. It was impossible to keep up and impossible to please everyone. By the time the news broke, Emily had already packed up and moved on, reportedly without any major fanfare or farewell statement. That silence spoke volumes. Her friends told journalists she isn't a quitter, that she had weathered tougher storms in her career, which only makes her exit all the more explosive. And for Meghan Markle, who's been fighting to regain control of her narrative ever since that palace probe into bullying allegations, Emily's resignation couldn't have come at a worse time. Just when she needed a trusted voice to rebuild her brand, yet another one has walked out the door. But as insiders warn, this is only the beginning of what's unraveling inside the Sussex PR world. The story of Harry and Meghan's staff turnover has become almost legendary in media circles. 10 publicists in 5 years is not a streak any celebrity couple wants on their resume. It raises the same question every time: what is driving these professionals to leave so quickly? People close to the situation say it is not about money or workload. It is about survival. Working for the Sussexes, one insider revealed, feels like stepping into a storm that never ends. Behind the glamour and perfectly curated interviews, the Sussex operation has become known among Hollywood publicists as a revolving door. Some insiders describe it as a high-pressure environment filled with impossible expectations. According to reports, Meghan often micromanaged the tone of press releases, even down to the adjectives used to describe her fashion choices. Others say Harry struggled with the constant criticism from tabloids and pushed for more control over how he was portrayed. The mix of insecurity and perfectionism has apparently turned every PR strategy session into a battlefield. Industry insiders whisper that no one in their world lasts long under that kind of pressure. PR veterans are trained to handle crises, but when the crisis comes from inside the team itself, the job becomes impossible. One former aide reportedly described the Sussex office as a place where every day feels like a damage control meeting. There is always something to fix, always an image to repair, and always a headline to chase. When Emily Robinson walked away, people in the industry were not surprised, they were sympathetic. The rumor around Los Angeles is that she tried to introduce structure, tried to set boundaries, but found herself up against a wall of unpredictability. Meghan's intensity and Harry's sensitivity are said to clash with the calm professionalism PR teams need to function. The result is constant turnover, with each departure adding another dent to their already fragile public image. Even inside Netflix and Spotify, whispers grew louder that the couple's team was struggling to present a unified front. Reports surfaced that emails were often rewritten several times before approval, and deadlines slipped while Meghan sought perfection. Every detail had to match the Sussex brand, though no one could quite define what that brand was. Was it royal, Hollywood, humanitarian, or something else entirely? Staffers grew exhausted trying to chase a vision that kept changing shape. Public relations experts watching from the sidelines say this pattern signals deep leadership issues. In any successful organization, staff stability reflects confidence and clarity. When everyone keeps leaving, it tells the world something is wrong behind the curtain. The longer this continues, the harder it will be for Meghan and Harry to attract top talent, People are already wary of stepping into that world, and yet, despite the chaos, the couple continues to project calm. But insiders are hinting that Emily's resignation may have triggered something far bigger than just another staffing loss, because if the rumors about what she saw are true, the next revelation could be devastating. When Emily Robinson's resignation hit the headlines, the official explanation was vague, almost rehearsed. "Parting ways amicably," one statement read, as if trying to smother the fire before it spread. But behind the curtain, insiders claim it was anything but amicable. Reports are surfacing that Emily walked out after a series of heated internal emails revealed deep divisions over how Meghan and Harry's image should be managed. One source close to the situation said bluntly, "It became unworkable. Every day there was a new version of the truth, and Emily couldn't keep up." For someone with her reputation, quitting a high-profile role after only 4 months sends a loud message. People inside the entertainment industry know Emily is disciplined, calm, and discreet. She does not run from pressure. So when she decided to go, whispers began that there was more to the story. According to reports, emails exchanged between senior staff hinted at unrealistic demands and constant interference from the top. Every move had to go through Meghan's direct approval. Even minor press mentions required a personal sign-off. It became a bottleneck that no experienced publicist could endure for long. Word on the street suggests that Emily tried to build a consistent narrative around Meghan's new creative leadership brand. She wanted to shift the focus from the royal drama to Meghan's production work and philanthropy. But that plan, insiders say, collided head-on with Meghan's need for control. Sources claim Meghan would reject entire campaigns overnight, rewriting messaging at the last minute and insisting on her own edits. It created confusion among partners and frustration within the team. One insider described the atmosphere as walking on eggshells. Then came the leaked correspondence. Several emails, reportedly from internal discussions, began circulating among media contacts. While their authenticity has not been confirmed, the content painted a troubling picture. In one thread, a senior team member allegedly wrote that Meghan's expectations are unsustainable and that no campaign will ever be good enough. Another message allegedly described late-night revisions demanded after publicists had already submitted finalized press kits. Those leaks turned a quiet resignation into a PR scandal overnight. Behind closed doors, Emily's departure triggered panic. The couple's communications network, already stretched thin, scrambled to contain the fallout. Friends of Emily told reporters she had been professionally frustrated but personally relieved to step away. "She's not a quitter," one said, but she realized this was a situation no one could fix. Observers noted the timing could not have been worse. Meghan had just begun pushing her latest project aimed at female empowerment, hoping to pivot attention away from negative coverage. Instead, the headlines shifted back to dysfunction and chaos. For critics, it confirmed what they had long suspected. The Sussex PR empire might look glossy from the outside, but inside it was fracturing. And according to palace insiders, those leaked emails may not be the only ones waiting to surface, because if more messages emerge, they could expose what really happens behind those Montecito gates. And from what sources are hinting, the next revelations could be far darker. The moment Emily Robinson's resignation became public, royal insiders began drawing uncomfortable parallels to a scandal that Meghan Markle thought she had buried for good. The bullying allegations, that word alone still echoes through palace corridors, even though the official investigation results were never released. It is a ghost story in royal circles, whispered about but never confronted. Now, with yet another staffer walking away under a cloud of stress and silence, that ghost has returned to haunt Meghan's carefully crafted image. Sources close to the palace recall that the original bullying probe began when several former staff members accused Meghan of creating what they called a humiliating and hostile work environment during her time at Kensington Palace. Those claims surfaced just before the Sussexes' explosive interview with Oprah, and the timing made the story even more volatile. Back then, the palace quietly launched an internal inquiry, hiring an external law firm to review the claims. But after months of speculation, the results were sealed. Officially, the palace said it would not make the findings public to protect the anonymity of those involved. Unofficially, insiders say the results were damning enough to cause lasting damage. Now, as Emily Robinson's exit hits headlines, whispers in London and Los Angeles are connecting the dots. One senior royal commentator remarked that history is repeating itself. The same themes are emerging: high expectations, emotional exhaustion, and staff leaving abruptly without farewell statements. It paints a familiar picture, one Meghan's team desperately wants to erase. But with each new departure, that old narrative grows stronger. According to people close to the situation, several of Meghan's former employees from her UK days have quietly reached out to others who have worked with her since. They reportedly share stories that mirror one another: long hours, unclear directions, and sudden changes in tone when results were not perfect. It is like reliving the same pattern, one former staffer allegedly told a journalist. Different continent, same chaos. PR specialists observing the situation note that this connection is toxic for Meghan's brand. Once the word bullying is attached to a public figure, even indirectly, it is nearly impossible to shake, especially when the palace refuses to release the report that could clear her name. The silence leaves room for speculation, and speculation spreads like wildfire. It also reignites questions about why Meghan's team appears unable to keep experienced professionals for long. Insiders claim that Meghan has privately expressed frustration over the ongoing comparisons, insisting that she is misunderstood and unfairly targeted. But behind closed doors, her allies are worried. Each new resignation risks reopening old wounds, reminding the world that the bullying story was never truly resolved. It lingers in the background of every headline about her staff. And now, with whispers that more details from those palace investigations could be resurfacing, people are starting to wonder what might finally come to light. Because if any of those sealed documents or testimonies were ever to leak, the impact on Meghan's reputation could be catastrophic. And according to several insiders, that possibility is no longer unthinkable. While the British press focused on the echoes of the palace probe, Hollywood was buzzing with a very different kind of whisper. In Los Angeles, talk spread that the leaked emails from Emily Robinson's short tenure revealed more than frustration. They reportedly exposed serious tension between Meghan Markle and her entertainment partners. According to insiders, those messages hinted at clashes with Netflix executives and producers who were growing weary of what one source described as constant creative interference. The rumor in Hollywood circles is that Meghan's desire to control every detail began clashing with the production culture at Netflix. Behind closed doors, people are saying that meetings once filled with excitement about the couple's potential projects had turned tense. One insider claimed that Meghan wanted full approval over promotional language, poster design, and even interview questions for minor appearances. It may have started as brand protection, but to many, it felt like micromanagement. "You cannot run a studio that way," said one producer quoted in a Los Angeles entertainment column. "There are too many moving parts, and everyone was getting frustrated." Adding to the strain were ongoing questions about the Sussexes' remaining contract obligations. The Spotify fallout had already shaken confidence in their ability to deliver consistent content. When the Archetypes podcast ended abruptly, sources within the industry said it made future partners cautious. Then came the rumors that Netflix executives were quietly re-evaluating their relationship with the couple after several projects stalled in development. Meghan, insiders claim, wanted to pivot toward inspirational storytelling, while Netflix pushed for more reality-driven narratives that would guarantee viewership. Neither side was satisfied. Within PR circles, the talk has become that Meghan's Hollywood reinvention may be hitting a wall. Word on the street suggests that several talent agencies have become hesitant to take her on as a client. Not because she lacks potential, but because she comes with heavy management demands and unpredictable press cycles. For many in the industry, the cost of being linked to ongoing controversy outweighs the benefit of her fame. Meanwhile, leaked internal notes allegedly show that Emily Robinson tried to broker peace between Meghan's team and Netflix, proposing a more measured communication plan, but the plan never gained traction. A few weeks later, she was gone. That timing has not gone unnoticed. Insiders speculate that those disagreements over messaging may have been the final straw. Even among Meghan's supporters in Hollywood, there is quiet unease. A well-connected producer told one reporter, "People still admire her drive, but the energy has changed. There is a sense that everyone around her is walking on eggshells. The glamour that once surrounded her name now carries tension, as if every conversation could turn into a headline. And yet, just when it seemed the leaks could not get worse, new chatter began to emerge. Whispers from industry insiders suggested that the emails Emily Robinson left behind may have contained more than just professional disagreements. Some say they reveal private details about Meghan's long-term PR strategy, and that those secrets could soon see daylight. By the time Emily Robinson's departure became public knowledge, the damage to Meghan Markle's image was already spreading like wildfire. It was not just another staffing loss, it was a signal that something inside the Sussex operation was deeply broken. PR professionals across Los Angeles began whispering about the Meghan effect, a nickname for the curse of any publicist brave enough to take the job. The question echoing through media circles was simple: how did one of the world's most photographed women lose control of her own narrative so completely? Public relations experts say the answer lies in one dangerous habit. Meghan, they claim, refuses to trust the people she hires. Instead of delegating, she becomes deeply involved in every decision, every headline, and every photograph. According to reports, she often demands multiple revisions to even the smallest press materials, creating a cycle of endless corrections and second-guessing. One Hollywood insider explained it this way: "She wants perfection, but perfection doesn't exist in PR. You have to let the story breathe." For years, Meghan's strategy has been to reclaim her image from what she calls the toxic tabloid machine. But in doing so, sources say she has turned her communications team into a machine of her own, one that runs on tension, fear, and constant damage control. Each new headline becomes an emergency. Each social media rumor sparks a full-scale review meeting. The result, insiders say, is exhaustion. They are burning out their own team trying to fight ghosts, one source told an entertainment columnist. Experts also note that Meghan's public image has become fragmented. At first, she was the fairy tale duchess who broke barriers. Then came the rebel royal, speaking truth to power. Later, she rebranded as a Hollywood entrepreneur and advocate for women's empowerment. Now, those identities are colliding. PR analysts point out that her brand lacks consistency, leaving audiences confused about who she really is. One former advisor reportedly told her that a brand without clarity eventually eats itself. Meanwhile, the public perception of Meghan has hardened. While her supporters remain fiercely loyal, neutral observers have grown skeptical. Every new project is met with cynicism. Every polished appearance triggers accusations of manipulation. The more she tries to shape her image, the less authentic she appears. This spiral, PR strategists warn, is what turns a publicity problem into a full-blown crisis. Harry's presence in all of this adds another complication. Sources close to the couple say he is fiercely protective, often stepping in to defend Meghan during team disagreements. But his involvement, however well-intentioned, can blur the lines of authority. Staffers never know who truly makes the final call. It creates confusion, delays, and tension that no amount of expertise can fix. Now, with Emily Robinson's sudden exit and those rumored emails still hanging over Montecito, the perception of chaos has become its own story. PR experts are calling this Meghan's control paradox. The tighter she tries to grip her image, the faster it slips away. And the whispers in Hollywood say that what comes next could be her biggest test yet, because one more public stumble could push her entire brand past the point of recovery. In the early days of Meghan Markle's rise, Hollywood was her safety net. Producers, stylists, and influential friends championed her as a modern, relatable duchess who could merge royal prestige with California charm. But that circle has quietly thinned. Whispers in Los Angeles suggest that several once loyal allies have begun to distance themselves, not out of malice, but self-preservation. The mood has shifted. Where once people spoke about Meghan with admiration, now they choose their words carefully. Nobody wants to end up on her bad side, or in the headlines. Behind closed doors, former associates reportedly describe her as impossible to advise. They say Meghan's tendency to view criticism as betrayal has alienated those who tried to help her most. One former collaborator, quoted anonymously in a trade magazine, claimed, "She listens to everyone but trusts no one. The moment something doesn't go her way, the dynamic changes overnight." Others in her inner circle allegedly share similar experiences: constant tension, shifting priorities, and an air of unpredictability that makes long-term partnerships difficult to maintain. A few Hollywood insiders have even gone on record, albeit cautiously. According to one producer who worked briefly with Meghan's team, discussions about joint projects fell apart because the approval process was endless and she wanted creative control over every frame. While such control might make sense for a personal brand, it frustrates studios that depend on collaboration. Over time, the calls from top-tier producers reportedly became fewer. Even Meghan's attempts to build relationships with major charities and lifestyle brands have, according to sources, cooled quietly. In social circles, too, the energy has changed. Invitations that once came easily now arrive less often. Some speculate that the steady stream of controversies surrounding her and Harry has made them risky guests. People love them personally, but the drama follows, one insider explained. You can't host a private event without wondering who's going to leak what. It is the kind of paranoia that Hollywood thrives on and fears in equal measure. Adding to this, a few journalists who once portrayed Meghan favorably have begun shifting tone. Reports now highlight inconsistencies, question her motives, and re-examine moments once seen as empowering. Even neutral coverage increasingly includes phrases like PR crisis, reputation fatigue, or overexposure. For a woman once hailed as media savvy, this trend has become her Achilles heel. The most striking development, however, is the silence of certain high-profile friends. People who once publicly supported Meghan, from A-list actresses to influential activists, have gone noticeably quiet. It is not open rejection, it is calculated distance. As one Hollywood publicist put it, no one wants to get caught in the crossfire between Meghan's image battles and the tabloids. It is safer to stay neutral. For Meghan, that silence might sting more than the criticism itself. Publicly, she presents confidence and calm. Privately, insiders claim she feels betrayed by those who have pulled away. And yet, the whispers suggest this is only the start, because when even loyal allies begin stepping back, it signals that the brand's glow is fading, and that something much bigger may be brewing behind the scenes. While Meghan's world in Hollywood was showing cracks across the Atlantic, royal insiders were quietly watching events unfold with what one commentator called a mix of grim fascination and quiet satisfaction. Within palace circles, the narrative of Meghan's never-ending PR chaos has become almost expected. For some courtiers, the news of Emily Robinson's sudden resignation felt like déjà vu. The same pattern they witnessed at Kensington Palace was now repeating in California, and this time, the institution she once accused of silencing her was saying nothing at all. According to palace insiders, there has been no gloating, at least not publicly, but privately the feeling is different. One senior aide, speaking under anonymity, reportedly said, "When you walk away from an ancient system claiming to know better, and it still falls apart, people notice." To them, the situation confirms what they have long believed, that Meghan and Harry underestimated how difficult it is to manage fame without the structure of the monarchy. The palace might have been rigid, but it provided boundaries, protocols, and a network of professionals who knew how to weather storms. In Montecito, there are no such walls, only constant exposure. There are also whispers that the royal family's communications teams have been subtly adjusting their strategy in response. Instead of engaging or countering Meghan's narrative, they have chosen silence. It is the oldest trick in the royal playbook: never complain, never explain. By refusing to respond, they allow the Sussexes' missteps to speak for themselves. The strategy appears to be working. Polls in the United Kingdom show a steady rise in sympathy for senior royals, while public perception of Meghan and Harry continues to slide. Observers note that this shift has changed the tone of coverage in British media. The same outlets that once fueled the couple's grievances now treat them as cautionary tales. Every staff resignation or failed project becomes another reminder of what happens when one tries to outmaneuver the institution. The monarchy has patience, one royal historian explained. It can afford to wait. Scandal burns fast. Legacy endures. Yet even within the palace, there is a hint of melancholy about it all. Some royal watchers claim that Prince William, despite everything, feels frustration rather than triumph. He knows that every public failure for Harry and Meghan deepens the divide within the family. Others, however, are less sympathetic. According to sources, a few courtiers quietly believe Meghan's latest PR disaster will finally force Harry to see what they have been warning him about all along, that life outside the firm is a battlefield without rules. And now, with talk of those leaked emails and whispers of internal chaos, some insiders suspect the palace may be bracing for impact. Not out of concern, but anticipation. Because if more damaging information surfaces, it could permanently close the door to any form of reconciliation. And behind closed doors, several royal advisors are reportedly saying the same thing. If the Sussex machine keeps imploding, the monarchy won't need to lift a finger. Time will finish the job for them. The fallout from Emily Robinson's resignation has rippled far beyond Montecito. What began as a quiet staffing change has now turned into a full-scale PR nightmare that threatens to undo years of image rebuilding for Meghan and Harry. Within days of the news breaking, industry sources began speculating that several of the couple's professional partnerships were being quietly re-evaluated. Netflix, the biggest name still associated with the Sussexes, has reportedly grown cautious, concerned that constant staff turnover signals instability behind the scenes. According to whispers from within the entertainment industry, internal meetings at Netflix have focused on one key question: can Meghan and Harry still deliver consistent, marketable content? One executive allegedly described the pair as creative but unpredictable. The success of their documentary series had bought them goodwill, but subsequent projects have struggled to maintain momentum. Several ideas were pitched, rewritten, and shelved entirely, leading to concerns that too much time and money were being lost to indecision. For a company that thrives on efficiency, that reputation is poison. Then there is the commercial side. PR experts point out that corporate sponsors and potential brand collaborators rely heavily on stability and trust. When headlines scream about chaos, leaks, and resignations, investors hesitate. Reports have surfaced that at least two major lifestyle brands quietly stepped back from proposed partnerships with Meghan's new ventures after the controversy broke. It's not about dislike, one insider said. It's about risk. Every collaboration comes with baggage, and right now, the Sussex brand is heavy. Even Meghan's long-term vision of becoming a lifestyle and wellness mogul is showing strain. Her latest business initiatives, once hyped as the start of a new chapter, have faced delays and inconsistent messaging. Insiders claim that her team's constant reshuffling has disrupted marketing timelines and confused potential partners. One Los Angeles PR consultant commented, "When you change your staff that often, relationships collapse. You spend all your time rebuilding bridges instead of moving forward." The media, of course, has seized on the turmoil. Outlets across the United States and the United Kingdom are publishing think pieces asking if the Sussex empire is losing steam. Even sympathetic journalists, once eager to defend Meghan, have begun acknowledging that her narrative of empowerment and independence now risks being overshadowed by the constant crisis management. Public sentiment reflects that fatigue. Online engagement around their appearances has dipped, and social media reactions, once dominated by supporters, are now mixed at best. Inside Montecito, insiders claim the atmosphere has grown tense. Harry, reportedly frustrated by the headlines, has urged a more unified message, while Meghan continues to push for refined storytelling and emotional truth in their projects. But the problem, sources say, is not the message, it is credibility. Every resignation chips away at the image of control and stability they want to project. And as the industry watches from a distance, one uncomfortable question lingers in the air. What happens if the Sussex brand can no longer attract talent willing to work under that spotlight? Some insiders believe the answer may already be unfolding. Because if the leaks continue and more allies turn away, this PR disaster could mark the beginning of the couple's most serious credibility crisis yet, and the timing could not be worse. As the dust settles over yet another PR scandal, one thing has become undeniable. Meghan Markle is standing at a crossroads. What was once hailed as a royal rebirth has slowly evolved into a relentless cycle of reinvention, crisis, and recovery. Insiders now describe the situation not as an isolated setback, but as a reckoning, one that could determine the long-term survival of the Sussex brand. The world is watching closely, and the tone has shifted from curiosity to skepticism. Sources close to Montecito say Meghan has been quietly meeting with a small circle of advisors to recalibrate her image yet again. The discussions, described by one insider as intense and emotional, revolve around finding a way to restore public trust while keeping control over her narrative. But that balance is proving harder to achieve than ever. She wants to move forward, but every step is haunted by the last controversy, said a friend of the couple. People inside her team are telling her she has to loosen her grip, but that's not easy for her. Observers in both London and Los Angeles agree that the couple's public reputation has reached a critical tipping point. The relentless turnover of staff, the rumors of creative tension, and the echoes of old palace allegations have all merged into one powerful storyline that Meghan cannot hold on to her people. Whether fair or exaggerated, perception often becomes reality in the world of celebrity PR, and perception right now is not in her favor. Still, some insiders insist that Meghan has no plans to retreat. Instead, she is said to be plotting what one source called a second act within the second act, a new strategy focused on authenticity and selective visibility. The idea is to stop chasing control over every headline and instead focus on controlled appearances that feel organic. That may mean fewer interviews, less exposure, and a slower rebuild of trust. Yet even among her supporters, there is doubt. Has the damage gone too far? Meanwhile, those leaked emails still hang like a shadow over the Sussex operation. No one knows if more messages will surface or what they might contain. The speculation alone has created tension, as every new rumor revives the headlines Meghan wants to escape. Behind closed doors, even loyal staffers are said to be growing weary of the constant crisis management. Everyone is waiting for the next story to break, one insider told a British outlet. No one feels safe. For Meghan, the reckoning may not lie in the scandal itself, but in what she chooses to do next. Every move will matter. Every silence will be read as a signal. The world that once adored her fairy tale is now demanding accountability and consistency. Whether she can deliver that will decide not just her image, but her legacy. Because at this point, it is no longer about what was leaked or who quit. It is about whether Meghan Markle can rebuild from the ruins of her own story. And that, as insiders quietly admit, may be the hardest role she has ever had to play. Drop your thoughts below. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video is waiting, and you will not believe what is coming next.